Hi, I'm Matthew Dahlitz from the Science of Psychotherapy, and I want to share with you a little bit of a conversation between Richard Hill, myself, and Terry Marks-Tarlow as we ask Terry about herself. For those listeners that don't know who Terry Marks-Tarlow is, can you just give us just a little brief intro into who you are?
Oh boy, I am a clinical psychologist in Santa Monica, California. I've been practicing for 40 years, something like that. And I have lots of specialties in things like creativity and clinical intuition and interpersonal neurobiology of play. I am also an artist, and I have written librettos, and I illustrate all my books. How's that?
So it may be more succinct to ask you, what don't you do, Terry?
Oh, yeah. And I also dance 5 days a week and do yoga, and I have been called a pretzel in a former life, which...
I love it. And everybody out there, just go in and Google Terry, go look at her. We'll have, as Matt will tell us later, links and things. Yep. But Terry is just the most exciting living example of how wonderful things emerge when you give it the opportunity. That life seeks to do this, and we have. I know that we have a process in our education, and both in high school and also coming up in college, Terry, where it's sort of like focus, get a particular focus, get a niche, get a specific. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure you think that's a good idea.
No, I have written a piece called Embodied Clinical Truths, and one of those truths is all the things that we learn in graduate school that we think we're supposed to be, like get a niche and specialize and all of this stuff. I myth bust all of that, because I actually think from a complexity point of view that it's the variability that teaches us. So it's the wider we go and the more complex the input, the greater the opportunity for things to self-organize and for us to put together and integrate things. And the more we specialize, it's more like the traditional, what they say PhD stands for, right? Piled high and deep.
You'll love this, Terry, people, because I don't have a PhD. I've got a bunch of master's degrees.
Oh, okay.
And people say to me, Richard, you're quite clever, but not focused.
Right.
But it's so wrong. It's so wrong because of exactly what you're saying. It's that wideness. When I talk about systems sometimes and learning, and we'll talk a little bit. And Matt's got some lovely questions for you and bringing up about some of the amazing books and all this stuff. But when we look at the elements of something, we can't actually really predict how they're going to come together. Like, we can't look at a carburetor and imagine a car, or look at a liver and imagine a human being.
Exactly.
But if all you've got is a carburetor, you're never going to get a car.
That's right.
And that's the interesting thing. And on that sort of theme of how the value of expansiveness and engagement, which you've just started to allude upon there, perhaps we go back a little bit and start at the beginning. And Matt, we were talking about Terry's an earlier book, Psyche's Veil.
Well, if you want to know more about the science of psychotherapy, come across to our website, thescienceofpsychotherapy.com, and our podcast of the same name, and learn more about the science of you.